Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us at the Wi-Fi 360 Prime Interviews series. It's my pleasure to welcome today Bjorn Smedman, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly, CEO of Anyfi Networks. And we're excited to learn more about the innovation you're working on today and how it can help operators better monetize their Wi-Fi networks. To jumpstart here, can you tell us who is Anyfi?
Anyfi is a VC-funded startup based in Malmö, Sweden. We've been around since 2009, and we make carrier Wi-Fi software very similar to what you see come out of Cisco or Ruckus, but we don't make any hardware. So we integrate that software into existing access points.
Okay, great. So tell us how different is your approach from the traditional, intelligence provided by the AP vendors?
Yeah, we came into this from another angle than the traditional vendors, in that we're SDN based from the start. Maybe not all your viewers are familiar with software-defined networking, but it's basically the concept that you separate the control plane from the data plane, and you centralize control logically in a controller, you can see there in the slide. And then you have relatively simple software running on the access point, and it's the exact same software for all solutions. So you don't integrate anything special for the service in the access point. You do that in the network instead, in a virtual machine running in the network.
So you provide updates through sort of a program on top of the firmware, is my understanding?
Yeah, we provide a software component we call Anyfi.net software that is essentially a user space daemon that runs inside the gateway and provides functionality sort of similar to a vSwitch for Wi-Fi. That means that it manages spare SSIDs and makes those available for mobility services, you could say, with global coordination, without impacting the home user. So we put a lot of effort into making sure that the home user experience is not in any way impacted.
Correct. So let's try to understand here, how your solution works for, say, fixed operator on one side, mobile operators on the other side here. Want to tell us more about that?
So our most basic solutions are very similar in user experience to what you see today in, say, Comcast's Xfinity network or some other home spot deployment. The difference really is in quality and security. So since we have software running on the gateway, we can manage the radio in a much more efficient way. We can do things like prioritize the home user, not only on the backhaul, but also on radio spectrum. And that becomes important when you have wider use on these systems. Then we can also manage the quality of experience for mobile users, which is very important, especially for mobile offload. You don't want guest devices connecting too early to a network like this. And we can ensure through radio policy control that devices are only switched over to Wi-Fi when they will have a high quality user experience. So really it's an architecture that takes its starting point in the classic soft GRE architecture, and then picks off all the problems that you see with that architecture. For instance, as recently identified by the WBA, the Wireless Broadband Alliance.
Correct. And so for mobile operators, what's the deal here? In terms of your interaction with them, how do they perceive it?
On the mobile side, this solution has some quite strong and interesting advantages. So one very strong advantage is that we tunnel the raw encrypted 802.11 traffic over the backhaul. And that means we can ensure end-to-end security, even if the access point itself is not secure. So say, for instance, a mobile operator that's a little bit more concerned about security, they may not see residential gateways as a trusted non-3GPP access. But here they can tunnel through the access point and essentially remove the access point from the security equation and do all the security processing in the core network. It also improves handovers, for instance. Since you're tunneling anyway, we think it's a good idea to tunnel the raw encrypted Wi-Fi because it makes it easier to do use cases like handovers from LTE to Wi-Fi and back again.
Okay. Let's talk now about your home Wi-Fi on the go and how does that work?
Yeah, this is a solution that's perhaps our most advanced in that it leverages the SDN principles to its maximum. SDN is very strong in network virtualization. And this is essentially a network virtualization solution that provides every fixed line subscriber with a virtual copy of their home network when they are on the go. So whenever you come close to a visited gateway, as we see here on the right, your device will automatically connect to your home Wi-Fi, authenticate using the WPA passphrase in exactly the same way as if you were at home. And it's a completely seamless and secure user experience. So the main reason we do this is that we see so much higher user uptake, subscriber uptake. Typically if you do HomeSpots, you have maybe 15% of subscribers using the service, and you still do see a churn reduction. There are good studies on that. But in this solution, you see 95% of subscribers connecting to the network many times a day on multiple devices. So it has a much stronger impact on user experience and subscriber satisfaction.
So which studies are you referring to? Is that somewhere we can, our viewers can look at?
Sorry,
which studies are you referring to?
In how HomeSpots affect churn rates, for instance, there's good work by Efficient, if you know, a Swedish analytics firm. Yeah. They've done a very good study. A lot of their work is based on Telenet, because Telenet reports numbers quite openly, and they are reporting very positive numbers, and also very big proportion of mobile offload onto their network.
Okay, great. Let's move on to kind of, so far, where do you see the biggest challenges to the adoption of your technology?
So far, the big challenge has been for us has been to integrate on the gateways. We need to integrate software on the gateways. That means we need to have collaboration with all the major chipset vendors. And that has taken us quite some time to build that capability. I think going forward, it's for us still very much about the integration complexity, and we're addressing that by opening up more and more, moving towards open source for some of the components of our system, and just trying to be as open as possible about this implementation. We really think, if you look at projects like Open Daylight or OPNFV in the network function virtualization world, open implementation is the new standardization. The world is moving so fast, you don't have time to go through, years and years of standardization. You need to get open implementation out there.
Great. To finish off, how is 2015 looking for you? What are the key priorities, and where can we see you moving ahead this year?
Yeah, we certainly hope to be making our first big announcements during 2015. We're working with several of the tier 1 operators around the world on trials of various stages, and we hope 2015 will be the year when we make the first really big announcements.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Bjorn, for this very interesting highlight of your company, your solution, and wish you best of luck this year. I'm sure we're going to be seeing you around. For our viewers, Wi-Fi 360, thanks for watching this interview. Just a reminder, we provide research, but also content marketing with webinars, white papers, creative blogs, and of course, interviews. So thanks for your attention, and thank you, Bjorn. It's been a pleasure doing this with you today. Thank you.